Hey, what's happening? What's happening out there? Good evening to all. Peace in. Welcome to another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor. I'm your host, Tony Ray Harvey. Yes, we're podcasting here from the southwest part of Sacramento, the Greenhaven pocket area. Let's get right down into it. The Sacramento Kings lose again, 117-103 to the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minneapolis, Minnesota tonight at the Target Center. So they fall to 6-20 on the season, and they have lost 3 straight, and they have lost 15 of their last 18 games. Kind of expected that, They did lead at 52-51 at the break, but kind of expected that. That's pretty much been the routine this part of the season. So they will return home for a few days of practice, and then they will get back on the road and play the Portland Trailblazers on the 18th, Thursday 18th, and they return home for Saturday, December the 20th, where they will play the Trailblazer again at Golden One Center. So Julius Randle, he had 24 points to lead 5 players with 18 or more points in the Minnesota Timberwolves 117-103 win over the Sacramento Kings. Jaden McDaniels, he scored 21 points, and Naz Reid had 20 points off the bench for the Timberwolves, who improved to 17-9, and they are currently in 6th place of the Western Conference, and they have won 7 of 8 contests. So they were without the services of Anthony Edwards and guard Mike Conley. They also didn't play in that Timberwolves win over the Golden State Warriors the other night. That was 127-120. And Randle and DiVincenzo were the heroes of that game. Of course, on the other side, Stephen Curry, who has returned back to the court himself. I think he had 39 points in that game. But anyway, the Timberwolves won that game. They have been playing well. No, their defense hasn't been up to par as it has been in the last couple of years. But they're winning ball games. They're doing much more than what Sacramento is. Of course, they're a little bit more of an established team, and we expect that to happen. So the Kings lose their 3rd game to the Timberwolves this season, and they only took out 1. The last time they played them at Golden One. They did beat them in overtime. But this time around, the Timberwolves. So Donte DiVincenzo, who had a stop here in Sacramento a few years ago, he had 18.6 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals for Minnesota, while Bones Hyland added 18 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds in the starter's position. Randle, Reid, and Rudy Gobert accounted for 33 of the Timberwolves' 48 rebounds. You had 3 people who had 10 or more rebounds for the Timberwolves in this game, and they pulled down 48. Now, interesting enough, Gobert left the game in the 3rd quarter. Mark Jones, who was on the call tonight, did say that he left for personal reasons. So Rudy Gobert did not finish out the game. I hope everything's okay with him, but they didn't really they didn't really need him anyway. I'm pretty sure they could have used him, but they won by 14 points. That's all was needed. That really was all was needed. Kings came back and cut the lead a couple times at one point to no avail. So, yeah, as I said before, Edwards and Conley was out. DeMar DeRozan, Precious Achiuwa, and Dennis Schroeder had 17 points apiece for the Kings, 6-20. Then lost 7 of the 8 last games, 15 of the last 8. I think they're on a 3-game losing streak as well. So they're on another losing streak. But hopefully their fortunes will change when they take on the Portland Trailblazers, because they will have a little bit of time to regroup here at home and get a little practice in and see what they can do from there. Malik Monk, he had 16 points off the bench. Precious Achiuwa, I think he was 7 for 7 from the shooting from the field, from the floor. I can't say too much or less about it. Just great addition. From Scott Perry, picking his guys up, picking up pressure. He has been a valuable player. He has been doing something else too, but I don't want to mention it because, some people might be listening to this podcast and they'll run in there and ask the same questions. But I'm gonna save it for another time, though. But there's something else that I like to point out, though. But good showing for him. He had 17 points off the bench, and he's been one of the bright spots this season, no doubt, no doubt. So, like I said, I don't want to get too far into it. And if there is, any little push on that, I know where it's coming from. It's definitely coming from here, which I don't mind because this is a toolbox. So use it as you please, but don't steal. Don't steal. But I appreciate everybody who use it because I read everybody else's stuff. Pretty sure they read some of this stuff, and I really don't mind, what comes up out of it though. So, but I'm not going to say anything as far as, working on any type of feature story. On these players anyway. So Schroeder, he returned to the court after missing 7 straight games. Zach LaVine, he scored 10 points in the second quarter. There was his only 10 points of the game. He tweaked an ankle. He went out minutes before the second half was over. Tried to come back out. Once again, Mark Jones, who was on the call tonight, Markton picked up a few more games. Usually towards the end of the season, we see him calling a lot more games, but I guess, with these schedules all spread out and stuff like that, it works out for him. So it's good to hear him, on the call. But he did say that Zach, when they did show some footage of it too, he came back out on the court, tried to make it a go before tip off of the second half, couldn't do it. He headed back to the locker room. So I hope it's okay with that. He just came back because he was out, I believe, with a thumb injury before that, so he comes back. Try to help his team out. Didn't work. So I hope everything's okay with that. We'll find out between now and tomorrow, though. But it was good to have Dennis Schroeder back in the uniform and back on the court. As I said, he had 17 points. I think he had about 6, 7, 8, 9 assists or 2 to go along with that. I have to check back on that too. So, yeah. Zach LaVine, he did not return to the game. All right, well, tied 10 all. The Kings went on a 17 run to completed with a free throw by Achua to make the score 27-16 at the 59-second tick of the first quarter. The Kings led 27-20 to start the second quarter. Naz Reid, he hits a three-pointer at the 8:54 mark. That finished off a 10-0 run to open up the second quarter. So the Kings had issues, opening up their second quarter on defense. Minnesota led 32-27 at that point. All right. Kings did respond with a 14-6 run of their own, capped with a basket by LaVine. Kings put them up 44-38 with 4:15 left on the clock in the first half. The Kings led 52-51 at the break. Okay, after Keegan Murray converted a runaway dunk to open the third quarter. Another one of their problems. The Timberwolves responded with a 15-0 run that ended with a step-back triple by Bones Hyland to make the score 66-54. 66-54. The Kings charged back to cut the lead 77-75 on 2 free throws by Schroeder, but Minnesota hung on to the end of the frame and led 88-84 after 3 quarters. Schroeder cut the lead 93-92 early in the final quarter, but the Timberwolves would sprint out to a 24-9 run, finished by a Randle bucket to make the score of 117-101 with 59 seconds left to play. That's the ball game. There's your summary. Sacramento Kings. We definitely won't be getting too far into this. LaVine, something going on with that ankle. He limped back out, so that really is a concern right there. No matter what you say, he's still a member of this Kings organization. I still like to see him out on the floor, give him some type of effort. But if he's hurt, of course he's not playing. But you do have a chance if he's in a ball game. That's what I'm saying. That's the value that I'll add to that, whether he's playing good or not. I'd still like to see him out there on the court. According to Mark Jones, that update that he provided about LaVine goes back to the locker room. Of course, we didn't see him again. Let's see. I think I just want to talk a little bit about Keegan Murray here. get into that. Yeah, so Keegan, he finished the game with 10 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and he had 5 blocks. That's why I want to bring that up. 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 blocks. It's still the same case. People want to run him out of town. I know he hasn't been playing offensively, but the way he was playing tonight, okay, he needed them 5 blocks, Sacramento Kings. Can't trade him away anyway. The trading block opens tomorrow, December 15th, and we will see what happens from there. Of course, we got some information from the man, General Manager Scott Perry, back early in the week on the radio show with Kevin Gleason, Jay Johnson, and Kayla Anderson, KHTK 1140. I'll say that call number. But we'll see. But right now, Keegan just signed an extension. Can't trade him until the summer if you want to anyway. But just hearing this stuff, though, I know we need some more on the offensive end. But this is one thing that I did learn. We asked the guy about 3 or 4 times when he was still on the sideline. Mike Brown said Keegan has been exerting a lot of energy on that defensive side, trying to guard the best player on the team, the opposing team. A lot of that has to play into it. I believe that. Now, yes, I want him to get up more shots. I do want him to get 15 or more shots up as well. That's not working out here when you got a lot of people out here that, they looking for some food on their table, on their plate, rather. They want to shoot the ball as well. No problem with that. But all this, he does need to play better. But 5 blocks, folks, okay? He pinned one of them right there. It was Rudy Gobert trying to, get an alley-oop. He pinned it on the board. I like to see stuff like that, okay? He's running out here. Let's see, he didn't have any steals tonight, but he can't come up. Man, leave Keegan alone. Because if there is a rebuild, and I'm sure that there is, he's going to be part of it. When you talk about the 6 pillars that they be talking about, what's that? Pack Tide, Kevin Gleason been feeding me, those 6 pillars that Scott Perry got going on. We were talking about professional, okay, accountability, okay, professional, accountability, competitive, team-oriented, all right? All of that. He represents all of that. And I'm talking about Keegan Murray. And I think that would fit him perfect for the future. So let's just see what happens. But that and especially on the defensive end, you need defensive players. I hope they keep Keon Ellis. I don't think Keon Ellis got a licking. Oops. I don't think, oh my gosh. I don't think Keon did not get a lick. Let me see what he got going here. Because I don't think Keon got on the floor at all tonight, which is okay. But we're going to see how they're going to move with him accordingly, in these next few days or these next couple months. And we'll see if they be inclined to give him another contract. Yes, we will. Okay, we're just coming up that. Okay, let me see. All the stuff today is December 15th. Once again, the Kings lose. I'm trying to look at this box score real quick. Just hang with me. Just 1 point. No, Keon did not get off the bench. I was sure of that. I was watching. I'm watching football and basketball at the same time, of course, but mainly the basketball game. But no, he didn't get off. But I'm sure that I hope that he's part of the future because Scott Perry did mention that on the radio show with Kevin J and Kayla. So we'll see what happens with that. It is a log jam in that position. Schroeder did come back. Whenever he came back during that 7 game that he was out, I knew it was going to affect Keon Ellis first, if anyone. Now, head coach Doug Christie was able to play Nick Clifford. Matter of fact, Nick Clifford Nick Clifford started in the second half for Zach LaVine. And let's see, because Mark Jones did mention that up there too, that Nick will be getting the ticks in the second half, and those ticks were in the form of 13 minutes. 13 minutes. He didn't score a basket. He was 0 for 1 shooting from the field. One turnover. He did get a steal. Okay. So Nick, I'm looking for him to pick it up. He's only a rookie. That we do know. He's only a rookie. Okay. Maxine, he only had, let me see what Max only had 8 points and 6 rebounds, but still he got 26 minutes of time out on the floor. I think these rookies are going to be fine. I really do. For what it's worth right now. It's worth a lot that time that they get on the floor. Nick just, he's trying to find his way. I'm sure he is. I definitely have confidence that this will pick up. He hasn't really played well since he had a good game against the Miami Heat. I think he had 15 points in that game. So hopefully, that'll come back to him. His confidence level just really had to, zoom up right now. I know he went down there, played for the Stockton Kings last week before their last home game that they did lose. But maybe you need a little bit more time down there. What do you have? 16 points and 7 rebounds or something like that in the game. Maybe just a little bit more time down there. Okay. Devin Carter, he went down there. He played. Got a little time out there. Of course, he didn't play in this game. Let's see what happened with him. I think he's part of the future as well, too, with the Kings. I know it's been really tough for him, being a first-round pick. Then he had surgery. He's out for 6 months. Come back, he showed you just a little bit of what he can do. And then, the season starts and, they're trying to, put him in a point guard position. He's not ready for that, but he can play. He can offer you something. So he could be part of this future as far as I'm concerned. Okay, but hey, you talk about people like a guy, Keegan Murray. Keegan kind of reminds me a little bit about Shan Battier, who used to play in the league years ago. Played some good years, too. I know he played about 10, 12 years, too. Really great defensive player. Wasn't going to give you much on the offensive end. That's what I'm saying. All right? So, Keegan is a Shane Battier with the offensive game, to be exact. With the offensive game. So, at some point, we're going to be looking forward to, him to match that, too. But, yeah. So, as I just mentioned, December 15th is here. It is here at strike of midnight. And he did say on a radio show that don't expect anything to happen, right away. Scott not going to get fleeced. That's what it sounds like to me, the way he was talking to those that trio on the radio show. Matter of fact, he was on there to clear up some things that was reported that he just didn't feel comfortable with. I'll say the word problematic, but I understand this too in this game of journalism. Us as reporters have to take accountability. I don't care who you are or what you are. I respect you across the board. No doubt about it. And this person that I'm talking about, he's one of the well-respected reporters across the country. He's my buddy too. Spent a little time with him at Sac State. So I trust his work. He's credible. Okay. Whatever went Ari with that, that's something that he'll have to deal with. And I am talking about my guy, Sam Amick. Okay, he's one of the best. He's one of the finest. And I can tell you one thing. This is one thing I don't, I won't discount, or reduce or deduced. Without him around this area, we wouldn't get as much information that we do coming from this man. Okay, he knows what he's doing. He really does. Okay, well, I slip up every once in a while, but I will take accountability for my action. No problem there. No problem with me. Okay. And I have, and I don't expect to do it for another 5 years, but sometimes it happens in the next 5 years. But one thing that I do trust as far as his reporting, because he is a trusted messenger, and I'm talking about Sam Amick, I will have to say that. I don't want to go too far into this. We wouldn't get as much information about what's going on with this organization if it wasn't for him. We do have some other people around there, who cover the team, who think they have that type of inside information. But when it comes to getting in there close, I mean, he talks to Scott Perry a couple times already. All right. And then a few other locals have too. But when he's trying to, get that muckraker information, that's your man. I'm always going to listen to Sam Amick. I appreciate what he does, for us and stuff. But yeah, you get off into those areas like that, fair and balanced reporting is a must because people trust our work and they definitely want to make sure that you're credible when you provide those type of information, things like that. Me, honestly, I'm just looking at it too. Some people misspeak about some things. I understand that, when they in the heat of the moment, they're trying to get, the information out. Some people are a little bit more clever about the whole thing like that. All right. Okay. There's that. But right now, what we're talking about here is now you're back up to bat, Scott Perry. Definitely there's no pressure over here because you already explained it. You're not going to get fleeced. If there's a deal that's worth it as far as what's going to be sent back, and that's what we're talking about here, what's going to be sent back, because at times we have seen garbage come back to Sacramento. I mean, you know what I mean, okay? Sacramento getting fleeced. And I can tell you about 3 or 4, 5 times the Sacramento Kings have gotten fleeced when it comes to trades. Yes, I can. I can bring that about. But anyway, it doesn't look like Scott Perry, who's been around this league for about 30 years, he know the deal. He got connections out there. He has relationships with people. He knows the system, and he mechanically knows how this NBA thing works, especially when he's working inside and out. Just found out the other day that he's an attorney, a lawyer. I don't know if he passed the bar exam or anything like that. So I'll just say he's a lawyer. The last lawyer that we did have was Jeff Petrie. We haven't had a GM with those type of credentials, but you know about these lawyers. They trying to get the best deal possible anyway, negotiable wise. So let's see what Scott Perry can do. And I know the fan base is going to be looking forward to something happening because this is not working. It is absolutely not working, and we want to make sure everything is cool going forward. All right, so hey, definitely want to thank you for stopping in for another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor. I'm your host, Tony Ray Harvey. I will be back here Thursday, December the 18th, as we get deeper into this holiday season after the Kings play the Portland Trailblazers. Once again, they play them again here at home at Go to One Center, Saturday, December 20th. May not be back around for that one. We'll be back around for the next road game. Do want to thank you for stopping in. Don't care if it's 15, 30, 40 people who's checking it out. Thanks for stopping in. I'll be back. My blessing to you. But in the meantime, peace.